going on, everyone? This is Sarge, and you are looking at some more bolt action sniping. This is the M40A5, and I'm going to open up with a nice clip here as soon as I join the game. You'll see me here just pull down the sight there and shoot a guy in between two teammates, which was pretty lucky in my case. So I'll slow it down there so you can see that slow-mo replay. I picked the guy off in between two of my teammates without killing them, so I got that lucky shot off, and the rest of the gameplay is pretty decent. So the thing I wanted to talk about was how the weapon handled. I know some of you guys referred using the M40 instead of the other bolt actions, and I've used it in the past and I liked it, and then this is something I wanted to pick up again and try to see how it works in the retail version of the game. Now, the Recon class has 3 different bolt actions. You have the SV98, which is the first one you unlock. Then you have the M40A5, which is the one I'm using now. I believe it's 104,000 points you need to unlock the weapon. And then you have the M98B, which is the final unlock. Similar to the M95 from BC2, it's supposed to be the highest damage output in regards to bolt action sniping. It's the strongest weapon in the game, does the most damage. But one thing I found out is that playing in softcore normal mode, you're not going to one-hit kill your targets at close range, at any range. Because it doesn't do full 100% damage when you're shooting a person with the M98B. The M40A5, the weapon that I'm using here, does about 60-something damage, I believe. The damage model I have here on the bottom, you guys can read that just to know exactly what it does. That's a nice 180 no scope. I don't know if it's called scoping if you don't have a scope on your weapon. If you notice, I'm not running around with the scope. The only reason behind that is because I'm playing really CQB type aggressive style here, and I don't really need a scope unless I'm playing on a larger scope map. But yeah, I don't know if it's called quick scoping if you don't have a scope. Would I say what, quick sighting or no sighting instead of no scope? I don't know, but I'm going to use the same terms that I'm familiar with only because it just makes more sense for those of you who can catch on exactly what terms I'm using when I'm describing the gameplay here. So that was a lucky knife, and then here you see me pull off another quick scope. But anyways, going back to the subject, the thing is, I wanted to try out both weapons between the M40 and SV98 to see if there was any difference. Now, the damage model I did mention from my last video was that they're exactly the same, identical. So the accuracy was something I wanted to test. And one thing I just noticed is that it didn't really scale much of a difference for me. I didn't notice anything different between both weapons. The M98B, same thing. I think the accuracy between all 3 bolt actions is relatively the same. I know there might be a placebo effect where you're doing really well with one weapon, and I don't know what happened there. I think I tried jumping across there and I fell in the water. But yeah, you think you're doing really well with one weapon, so you assume that, okay, that weapon has the best accuracy. But I think from as far as my gameplay goes, using all 3 bolt actions and scaling across it, it's relatively the same for me. I didn't really notice much of a big difference between the accuracy levels. It's only the damage that makes a huge difference, and then I'm trying out different scopes for each weapon. Also, I noticed didn't change much of the accuracy as I assumed it did. Again, it was another effect where you're doing really well with a certain type of scope, so you assume that has better accuracy. So no, I didn't notice any differences between scopes or attachments. The red dot, as you see me use here in the attachment list, it was supposedly, I believe, it was supposed to give good hip fire accuracy. So I assumed, using a no scope with the red dot, it would allow you to be more accurate. So that was something I didn't see much of a change as well. I don't know if it's really affecting the accuracy. It just doesn't seem like it. It's like whether I'm using it or not, I'm doing the same thing. It's like I'm either hitting my targets or I'm not. So. And you know when you're on point because you can know or estimate where the middle of your screen is, and with the red dot you can actually see the red dot light up the person or the the place where you're shooting, so you can tell if you're going to miss or not. But yeah, not much of a difference. I know some people have tried the flashlight only just to blind your enemies. I don't recommend that, but if you're going to play CQB, obviously it might help. I don't know what happened there. I think the guy just tried to shoot me with his grenade launcher, and it went off in my face but didn't kill me. What else? So one thing I wanted to bring up was some questions some of you guys have asked me I know you guys were wanting to know what my setup was, or you mentioned, some of you guys mentioned how I didn't have the raw mouse input in the game. You can actually turn that off. If you go to options menu, you can turn off the raw mouse input. What that does is that it allows you to freely use your mouse in the game without the game having to adjust it for you. I know some of you guys have tried to do a zip around where you're making a 180, but your body or your mouse doesn't actually turn that quick because of the game is registering it at a slower pace. So by going to the options, turning it off, it allows you to freely move your mouse, and you can be a lot more accurate when playing the game and making those quick turns as you see me do here. Another thing was my FOV. I know I get asked that a million times. I've already answered that question a million times too, but I'm going to say it again just for you guys to know. My FOV I keep at 88. You can change that in the options menu. They actually allowed you to change it. I know for those of you who played Bad Company 2, you had to basically go into the settings, the INI file, which was on your documents, and adjust it through there. It was kind of like a manual adjustment. You couldn't really do it through the options menu. But in Battlefield 3, you can do it. So check that out. One thing you'll notice is that I play the game on low graphics. That's only to give me higher frames per second. It helps me play the game. It's a lot smoother. And wow, yeah, that was the end of the game there. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and try to answer more questions in a later video. I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay. My name is Sgt.Enigma. Take care.